Hi there, Connie here. Today we're going to talk about another app that's available to you from Microsoft and actually a lot of different places that can help you work a bit more effectively while you're working with your colleagues and you don't have to be in the same room with them. So this could be during a meeting that you're having, or it could just be you and your colleagues working together on one project in one place. And so what I'm going to show to you tonight is actually the Microsoft Whiteboard. So I have my whiteboard all ready to go here, a little bit of drawing in place, a little bit of text, a little bit of images, and I'm going to show you, I'm just going to go out of here a little bit, I'm going to show you how to put all this together. Okay, I didn't want to do that, I just wanted to move up here. So we're going to find out how this all works. And as I say, this is one of many whiteboard applications that's available out there. You can choose whichever one you like. I'm showing you the one that comes with Microsoft. Comes with Microsoft 365, and actually it's a part of Windows 10. So if you have Windows 10, it should have the Microsoft Whiteboard. And if you can't find it by going to your Windows menu at the very bottom left corner, you can always download it from the web. So let's find out how this works. Now, don't make fun of me too much here. I was using my desktop computer to do some of this, so some of that drawing and writing is pretty sad. But of course, I can use a regular pen that I have for my Surface, or if I'm using my iPad, I could use a pen for my iPad and maybe make it look a little bit more like my handwriting, right? So I'm going to try this on my Surface. So it's going to take a minute to get to the screen. So I'll just write with the pen, and you'll see how it shows up there. All right. So there's a few features that's pretty easy. Now, if I'm using my mouse is not going to be as great. I have to go to the toolbar at the bottom here and click on this little pen and then choose the color that I want. And yeah, I'm not going to even put a word in there because that wasn't very well thought out. Okay, let's just erase that. So that I picked the eraser. Let's say hi here. Yeah, sorry, the mouse is just not as great for me. Happy. But let me just show you on the desktop, the menu over on the right side here, those three lines. Let me just go back there for a second. Oh, let me get rid of the pen. So every time I click, it's giving me these pen markings. I'm going to go to my eraser, get rid of that. Yep. And then I'm going to turn off this pen area. So I'm going to hit turn off the inking is what it's called, the ink menu. So I'm going to uncheck that. Now I'm going to go to the top right side here, and I'm going to go to the three lines, which is the menu. And that's where on the menu it says whether you have active pen or not. So if I'm on my tablet and I like handwriting my notes, or maybe I'm doing a presentation of some kind and I want to handwrite like I would on a whiteboard, then I can choose active pen, and then it assumes I have my pen in place all the time. And then what I'll see is at the bottom here, it'll show just the pens all the time. And to get off of the pens, I just hit that little check mark and it takes me back to the other menu. So that's what active pen is. I don't have it turned on here because I want to kind of go back and forth from the two. Now I do have a few other things turned on: ink to shape, ink to table, object snapping, and a few other things like even the formatting the background. I picked yellow for this, but I'll just show you how quickly we could change it. Let's see, will that go? Yeah, I can change it to that. I think you guys can still see what I've got. Maybe gray would be better. Gray's kind of boring though, isn't it? Let's go green. Okay. And then I can put little dots on it. And so that would be there's a snap object. So if I put a grid on there, then if I'm trying to line it up, it would snap to the lines on my grid paper, right? So there's lots of choices here for the background. I'll let you take a look at that later. But I think I'll just change mine back to the little dots and then go back out of here. Okay, so some of these things are already turned on. And so let me just show you what they do. So ink to shape. So if I go back here and if I circle, okay, let's get some ink. So I have to go to my ink menu down here, and I'll just grab a pen and I'm just going to circle the high. Yeah, my circle isn't very good, but it changes it to a shape. So my circle wasn't that even, but because I said ink to shape, it made a nice even circle for me, right? And now similarly, if I try and draw a box over here, not too bad. It makes a much nicer box for me, right? Cool. So let's go back out of there. If I didn't want that happening, by the way, then of course I would just go back to my menu, turn ink to shape off, and then when I draw a circle and when I draw a box, there's no helping me, which isn't so great, right? I'd rather have it help me. So let me go back to, let's turn that back on, ink to shape. And I want to choose ink to table as well, because that's a really cool feature. Okay, and I got to get rid of these little extra things that I don't need. All right, so I'm just going to, yeah, I know I'm a little slow with my eraser because I don't want to erase a bunch of other stuff. Oh, I can't erase a shape like that. That's not an ink anymore, so that's good to show you. I can erase that. Okay, let's erase all this bad writing that Connie did. Oh, my tree, I didn't want to erase my tree. Let's get that back. But yeah, so I undid that, but I'm just going to go back here, make it a little smaller. Thanks for waiting for me to erase stuff. All right. Now, if I want to get rid of these shapes here, I'm going to turn off the ink menu, and then I'm going to go to where that shape is, and I kind of clicked on it, and it hovers around it, well, it puts a box around it, so now I can just hit delete from my keyboard or hit the garbage can, and that'll delete it for me. It's supposed to delete. Come on. There we go. And the same thing here. I want to get rid of that. Delete. Okay, so that's cool. So let's go back to the ink for a minute though. I want to show you the ink to table idea here. So let's pick another marker. And by the way, when I'm picking my markers at the bottom here, if you're looking at the bottom with me, there's a little dot at the top of that marker. Just click on that dot and that'll help you decide, you know, how thick you want the marker to be. And then of course, what color you want the marker to be. So let's pick green. I'm going to make it thick just so you guys can see really well. There we go. And I just clicked again to get rid of that menu. So if I want to make a table, watch what happens here. So let's hope it works properly. So a table is a line. There. Table is a box with a line or lines in it. So it automatically changed my box into a table when I drew that line in the middle of it. So let's see what else it does. So the plus sign here is going to add another column to the right. Plus sign here is going to add another row to the bottom. Cool, right? Now, what else I can do is I can go back here and I can start, you know, just drawing something in here or writing something in here. And as I write in here, it's adjusting the column widths or heights for me to fit the text in. So I want you to see there's on this ink menu at the bottom, there's a ruler and there's also a lasso. And the lasso lets me select whatever objects or items I have on my whiteboard so that I can work with them further. Lasso is more meant for, I can take this information here, lasso the house and the tree, and now I can move it somewhere else, right? So I can take this, move it around. So that's what the lasso is letting me do. It's just, it lets me grab a whole bunch of stuff and then move it. I didn't quite grab enough stuff there, but I can move that separately, I suppose. Lasso, help me here. Kind of got to go right around it. Just takes a little bit of time there. Okay, so that's kind of that's a neat feature of it, right? Is being able to kind of make enough room. But by the way, you have lots of room. I'm going to zoom out, and you're going to see there really isn't. There isn't. How do I want to say this? I don't know what the boundaries of this would be. There's no limits to how big your whiteboard can be. You can just keep writing and writing and just keep giving yourself more room, moving stuff up, or yeah, if I get out of pen mode, hang on, I'm gonna go to pen mode. That's better. If I get out of pen mode, then you can see I can move my whiteboard around much easier. If I'm in pen mode, it thinks I want to keep writing or selecting stuff. So that was giving me a little bit of trouble there. But I'm going to go back to the pen mode one more time and just show you another feature, which is the ruler. And the ruler is what I used here to get these straight lines. So the ruler, let's just see how well I can do it with my mouse. So the ruler normally comes on your screen not straight like that. It usually comes on, oops. I'm using my scroll on my mouse, and it's kind of scrolling to make things bigger, and it's also scrolling. Okay, if I scroll on the whiteboard itself, it makes the whiteboard area zoomed out. If I scroll on the ruler, it's moving the ruler to whatever degree it's showing on this thing here. So what kind of degree do you want? Do you want a 45-degree line? So that's 45 degrees. So if I grab my pen now, and if I see how it stays on the line, and now if I move my ruler, then I've got two lines that are 45 degrees. Cool, right? Okay, is anybody having as much fun as I am, or I'm here alone, I guess? Yeah. Okay, well, that's okay. So if I don't want that ruler anymore, then I just click on ruler again and it disappears. My whiteboard's getting to be a little bit of a, oh, I got pen going here. Gotta remember that. A little bit of a scary area. Okay, so let's get rid of the pens and let's just show you what else is available here. So I'm gonna zoom in and then I'm gonna move stuff around. So I'm using the Nonpen, what do I want to call it? The Nonpen toolbar at the bottom, non-inky mode, I guess is what you would say there, so that I can do that. I can zoom in and out, and I can move things around. So what I can do is, you see that there's pictures here, there's sticky notes here, and in fact, if I were to use the plus sign, can you guys see the plus sign here at the bottom? The plus sign gives me all these choices. So I'm just going to show you really quick. It lets me add in the notes. These are the sticky notes here. It lets me add in a list of any kind. I'll add in follow-up lists, so I can kind of get a little bit of a preview there. And it also has some templates of other whiteboard ideas for me, as well as it letting me bring in a PDF of any kind, a document of any kind from Word or a PowerPoint. And by the way, PowerPoint is kind of cool. This one here, iPhone Tech Tips. This is a PowerPoint slide. So when I said insert the PowerPoint, it actually asked, well, which slide do you want? I can insert the whole thing, or I can insert just one of the slides. So that was cool. So let's just say, I'm going to hit the plus sign here. And let's just say I want to bring in, let's just do the note idea. So that gives me a note grid. So now I want to maybe move things around a bit so I'm not covering other stuff. And then if I use the little pen here, it'll let me start typing my first note, right? And if and then I have to click on the next one, next, and then hit the pen and I can change the color of the note and then write my next note and so on. And so what I do with notes too is, if you have, this whiteboard presentation, and maybe a couple of you are working on it, or you have this in your meeting, and a few of you are contributing, you can share this whiteboard, by the way, at the top here where it has the people icon. That's where you're inviting somebody else to that whiteboard, so they can interact with you, and they can put stuff on it, and they can vote for things or like things. And that's what this little hand over here is that I can go back to this note and go, oh, yeah, I like that what you said there. That's good. Okay. And so that's kind of another neat feature there, right? So you have to have lots of imagination to figure out what all you're going to put on here. But I imagine if you're working on something together, it might not be too hard for you to come up with all the things you need to add to this. And of course, you can then save this whiteboard. And I mean, it's not going to print out like a piece of paper. Just be aware of that, because of course, it doesn't really have the same definition as a piece of paper. But it certainly is going to be available to you to use and to save and use and continue using if you want in future meetings, or even just to save as part of that project or that meeting or whatever. So hopefully this helps you. Let me know what you're using, how you're using it, and what you think of all of this that you learned today. So thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.